In this video, I'm going to teach you exactly how to stay lean year round without having to meticulously track calories year round. I think the goal for everyone should be to stay lean year round. Now, I'm not saying you have to be completely shredded, six-pack abs year round, but I do think you should not lose your abs in a bulk. I think the fitness industry is now full of people telling you you need to bulk, get massive, get huge, and what people then do is they just eat way too many calories and just go into this kind of, it's an excuse in my opinion to go and eat more food and just kind of get fat. They put on a bit of muscle, but they put on a lot of fat as well. And the reason why I think everyone should stay lean is because you only should be around 3, 4, maybe 5 week cut away from being absolutely shredded year round. It's a lot more enjoyable. You feel a lot better. You're gonna make a lot more progress in the gym because you're not constantly fatigued, you're not constantly lethargic. You'll feel 10 times better doing that. But the problem a lot of people have with it, and the biggest problem I had with it, was if I wanted to stay lean, I had to meticulously track every single thing that I ate. I had to really focus on having the scales all the time, really focus on, oh, how many calories are in this, how many calories in that. And I'll be honest, it becomes an absolute ball ache. It becomes it zaps all of the fun out of it completely. And I got addicted to the scales. I got addicted to what's going on. And then I ended up just kind of going over on my calories because I never programmed any fun. It was all rigid. It was all, oh, I need to do this, 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 and this. And then it got to a point where it was too rigid. I ended up going over my calories, going nuts, and I ended up just putting on a load of fat anyway. And it's just takes and zaps the fun out of it. And I think the gym and fitness should really complement your life. It shouldn't really complicate it. And that then comes to complicating. I think there's a time and a place for tracking. I do think there's a time and a place. If you are just starting out, I think it's perfect. Track your calories for a few weeks, a few months. Know what certain calories are in certain foods. But once you kind of know exactly what you're kind of eating, then I think you can go through a phase where you do eyeball things a little bit more, and you know exactly what foods are in, calories are in certain foods, and you can kind of be a little bit more better with it. But there's certain standards and certain rules you can use to make it a lot easier for yourself to do that, because you want to be able to go out and have fun and enjoy it in social events, because you don't want this to dictate your entire life. And that's what I think it was doing for me, where I wouldn't go out for dinners, I wouldn't go out for social events because I wanted to stay lean. But you can manipulate certain things. And the first thing you really want to start to manipulate is your activity. So in the fitness industry nowadays, it blows my mind. I think it's a lot of it's the bodybuilding kind of side of the things. And if you're into the bodybuilding, then that's completely fine. This video isn't really focused towards you anyway, because I don't agree with that. I think it's very, very extreme. And they do push a lot of cardio, a lot of activity. But what that then does, that puts a lot of stress on the body. Puts a lot of stress on the body and continued stress on the body. And you don't actually burn that many calories from doing exercise. You only burn like 10 to 15% of the calories you burn throughout the day through the likes of activity. But what doing cardio and doing excess amount of activity, what that really does is it's going to send your hunger through the roof. It's going to send your appetite through the roof. It's a hunger accelerator. It's an appetite accelerator. So you're constantly going to be hungry. And then if you're constantly putting stress in the body, your body's only going to handle that for so much. And if you're doing cardio year round, and I mean like intense cardio, where you're doing intense cardio 30, 40 minutes every single day, at what point, yeah, you're burning more calories, but at what point is that just going to become completely redundant, and you're going to end up wanting to eat more and more food? For me, I've completely cut cardio. The only cardio I'll really do is sprints, so higher intensity, short bursts with longer kind of rest periods. So I'll run for 10, 15 seconds, sprint 10, 15 seconds, and I'll take a 3-minute rest. But you're probably thinking, Jack, then if you don't do cardio, then your heart health is going to be in the bin. No, not exactly, because I will do steps. A lot lower impact. They're not as bad for kind of making you hungry more. Afterwards, they're not really an accelerator for your appetite, but what they do is one, it makes me go outside. A lot of people do the cardio and they're sat inside, sat on a bike, sat on a treadmill, and it's just horrible for the head, for the mental health. I will go outside. I'll do the majority of my steps outside, getting in vitamin D when there is vitamin D in this country, because it's usually now getting into October. It's not looking great. It's not looking great at all for that, but I will do that. I'll get 12 to 14k steps daily. So I am getting my, say, cardio in there. I'm getting my activity in there, and I'm burning the calories. But because I'm spreading the calories out over a longer period of time throughout an entire day, then I'm going to be burning more calories through non-exercise activity. So what that is obviously your NEAT, and you're going to burn a lot more of your calories through that, through going out and walking, a lot lower impact. It's going to be better for, for your training as well, for your recovery, because you're not putting that much stress on the body, the high intensity. And when you are doing steps and when you are walking, you are going to be burning fat as a fuel source. Doesn't mean you're going to be like losing fat, you're going to be burning fat, using fat as a fuel source. And when you're doing higher intensity stuff with your training, with your activity, you are obviously burning a lot more carbs as a fuel source. So I would focus on just having a step count. I'd say everyone should be doing over 8 to 14k steps. The more you do, the better. I wouldn't go extreme. Only when you're trying to really drop down on body fat. Year round, I'll stick around 12. 12 is kind of the perfect range for me, 12 to 14. But then when I want to lose a little bit more fat, I'll then up it to kind of 15 and above, up to, I don't really go over 20 usually when I'm looking at steps. And now, what you've all been waiting for, the diet side of things. Now this is going to be the most important one, and a lot of it is going to come down to just consistency of the foods that you eat throughout the day and your structure. You need to have a structure. You can't just kind of go, oh, I'm going to eat whatever I want. That might work for some people, but you do need to still have some sort of structure. It's not just going to be, oh, you have to weigh everything out and it has to be meticulous, but there needs to be structure to your day. So for me, usually I find it best when I shorten my window of eating. And a lot of that comes down to fasting. I don't fast for long periods of time, and I don't have a number on it. I don't just go, oh, I'm just gonna do it's like 16-8, and that's the kind of set rules. What I will do is I will try and go the longest that I can without eating my first meal. It's usually 3 to 5 hours into my day, but if I'm feeling hungry and I feel I need anything to eat, then I will have a meal. But if I can push it a little bit longer to kind of the 5 hour range, then that's absolutely perfect. And I'll use black coffee and I'll use water as well to help with that, to help suppress my appetite and just kind of push that meal back a little bit longer. Now, this is not magic. It isn't magic at all. But what it does do is it shortens that eating window, and it means you can't kind of spread out when you do spread them out, it becomes a lot more likely to overeat in the evening. I've got a big appetite, so I will overeat in the evening, hands down. That's when I do it. It's never in the morning, it's never at lunchtime, so I end up having smaller meals throughout the day, and then I'll have a bigger kind of meal, and I'll have a lot of my calories towards the end of the day, and I find that works better for me. And what I would do is just set a structure, set a plan around that for yourself. I find that that's very, very good, but just having set rules, set standards means you don't have to completely navigate, meticulously kind of track every single calorie that you eat, and it has to be kind of to a T. What I do is I'll have 4 to 5 meals that I have on rotation that I really, really enjoy. And I know a lot of people think, oh, you need variety, you need different things in there. Yes, I do agree, a little bit of variety in there is good. And you do want to eat different kind of foods, because it's going to be better for you in terms of, getting your micronutrients and getting the nutrients from certain different foods. Like salmon's going to have different nutrients to kind of beef, and I think variety in there. But once you know kind of what calories are in certain foods and what calories are in certain meals, you can just add the meals in there and eat them same 4 to 5 meals every single day. And your calories don't have to be perfect on the money all the time, but you're in a certain range where you're hitting it in around maintenance or just slightly above maintenance if you're trying to put on a little bit of weight. But a lot of it's just going to come down to your structure in and around that, making sure you're eating the consistent 3 to 4 protein sources throughout the day, focusing on getting your micronutrients in throughout the day, whether it's that's not ideal. That's not ideal. I might have to move. Hopefully not. Hopefully that isn't going to really take over the video. But what I was saying, in terms of not just focusing on your macros and what protein you're getting from certain foods, focusing on like the fats you're getting from certain foods, focus on the vitamins you're getting from certain foods, your micronutrients, like what vitamins you're getting. Like for me, I will always pick the likes of eggs, the likes of beef mince, and I'll base a lot of my reels around that. Every single day, I have a standard of having these 4 things in place, and this will get you around 80% of your micronutrients throughout the day, so you're obviously feeling a lot better and giving you a lot of that energy as well. That would be, the first thing I'd have is eggs. I'd have eggs every single day. I have a standard around 6 throughout the day. Beef, red meat, I'll have red meat every single day. Just one of my meals will be red meat, and then I'll flip around with the other meals with chicken, with salmon, with yogurt as well, and I'll flip around with that, but I'll have one meal that is red meat throughout the day. I'll have a vitamin C fruit, whether that's kiwi, whether that's oranges, whether that's strawberries. Sometimes it's maybe I have 2 of them throughout the day, depends on kind of what's going on. But I'll have that, I'll make sure that is a standard that I'll have every single day, whether it's pre-workout, post-workout, throughout the day, I'll make sure it's in, and I'll have some sort of dairy, whether it's some raw milk, whether it's some yogurt. I'm very, very high on having dairy in the diet. They're the 4 things that I would have in every single day, and I set a standard to have that in every single day, so then I don't have to track every single thing that I eat. I just have standards. I just have things that make it a lot easier for me to do, as opposed to just me having, oh, I need to have this amount of protein and this amount of thing. I'm just making sure I'll hit my protein because I know I'm hitting my protein because of the food sources that I'm using, and then I'll just supplement that with different kind of foods to make sure I am hitting my protein with getting the chicken in, getting the salmon in, making sure I get my omega-3s in as well. And anything that I don't have, that I won't get through my diet, which I don't think a lot of people get through with their diet, would be kind of like magnesium. I'll have that before I go to bed. Zinc, I'll have a little bit. You still get that through the eggs and red meat, but probably not enough. And then vitamin D, 3K2 as well, because I don't get enough of it in the UK through being outside. I get outside for as long as possible. I do spend about an hour or 2 outside every single day, so I do probably get a bit of vitamin D, sorry, but probably not enough. I'm sorry, I do have kind of notes kind of going off. It isn't really a script, it's just kind of something to kind of keep my eyes on so I can kind of not go completely off tangent, but I've actually hit everything on there without even having to look at it at once. So for me, that's quite impressive. So kind of that's everything kind of with diet, and that's the standards I'd have with my diet. I'm now moving on to training. For me, I think training is very, very overcomplicated in the fitness industry. There's a lot of people just kind of doing a lot of research, doing a lot of, oh, what's the best thing for this, what's the best thing for that. In my opinion, yes, there's a time and a place for research, there's a time for looking up, and I do spend a lot of time learning on how I can improve certain things in my life, but I don't get bogged down in that. And I do kind of like to keep things simple. And if there's an exercise in the gym where I don't really want to spend 20 minutes setting it up, then I won't do that. I'll keep it simple and I'll pick an exercise that I enjoy. It's a lot more simple to kind of set up and a lot more simple to do. I have done all the splits over the years. I've done the 5-day, 6-day, 4-day splits. So I'm probably one of the best people to look at in terms of what is probably the best way going forward. Straight off the bat, I do think it's important to just pick one and just stick to it. Stick to something, one you enjoy, one you can kind of stick to, and you are consistent with, and it fits your kind of lifestyle and routine. For me, I think the best split that I've ever used is the one I'm currently doing right now, which is going to be 3 days a week. It's perfect for recovery. I love the gym, but I don't love being in the gym too much. I don't want to have to drive to the gym 5-6 days a week. I love the gym, but I do love having a life outside of the gym as well. And I find with 3 days a week, it's perfect for me because my ADHD kind of brain and kind of routine brain does love just training on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, have weekends off and enjoy that. But with my training, I've made a big focus towards kind of more of the compound lifts, whether it's your incline presses, your shoulder press, pull-ups, dips, squats, RDLs. I've made a big push towards that because I think I'm going to get a better bang for my buck with them kind of compound kind of exercises, thrown in a little bit more isolation exercises. I think too many people focus on the isolation. I think compounds have their perfect place in there, and I think they're the kind of the needle movers when it comes to training. And I will then throw in some isolation exercises as well for the kind of the biceps and the triceps to make sure I'm still growing in them sort of areas as well. Obviously, the main thing with training is just getting stronger. I think people overcomplicate it with, yes, form's important and making sure you are targeting the muscle. That is very, very important. And keeping that form consistent throughout your entire progression is really, really important. But the biggest thing is going to be progressive overload, getting stronger, adding weight, adding reps week on week. And I find that's very, very easy doing 3 days a week, because you can go in, you're looking forward to the session because you've been out of the gym, you're recovered, your sleep is on the money, you're not kind of putting your body under that much stress. And that's what I think is absolutely perfect. So then you can get stronger, and you know exactly you're getting stronger week on week because you're getting stronger on your compound lifts. If you're getting stronger on your pull-ups, your weighted pull-ups, you know you're getting stronger. You know you're putting on muscle, and it's like a guarantee. I don't want to spend too long kind of focusing on the training side of things, because I do think it is very, very easy. I do think it's very, very overcomplicated, and I do think it is simple to kind of do. But if you do want me to go into a more of a deeper dive with the training and go a lot more into it in the future with the training, then I will do a separate video on what training that I do and how I structure 3 days a week and how I kind of do it. And I'll go over all of the exercises, and I'll go into a lot more deeper dive. But I do think I'm talking about staying lean year round. So training is just making sure you're maintaining your muscle and you're growing the muscle over time. Depends if you're in your first year or so, or if you're a lot further along the line. Like, I'm 5 or 6 years down the line now, and I'm not going to see a massive amount of gains, especially being completely natural. I'm not going to see a massive amount of gains, and that doesn't mean I go into the gym with a different kind of mindset. I still go into the gym with a mindset that I'm going to get stronger. I'm still going to put on muscle, but it is going to be a lot slower. Physiologically, I know I've not got that much more muscle to kind of put on. I am very, very happy with the muscle that I've got. Obviously, the pushing brain of me wants a little bit more. I do want a little bit more, but I know it's a lot slower. But I enjoy the process of doing it. I enjoy the process of pushing myself in the gym as well. I think that's important, is just enjoy the process, enjoy pushing through. And that's why staying lean is going to be the most important thing. And that's what the kind of summary of the end is for me, is staying lean is going to allow you to enjoy the process a lot more, because you're liking the way you look, you're liking the way you feel, and it makes it a lot easier for you to kind of continue to kind of go on and do things. And it's good for your lifestyle, it's good for career, it's good for your relationships, it's basically good for everything to stay lean year round and enjoy it. And I think not having to track every single calorie that you eat, not having to kind of be meticulous with it and kind of go, oh, if it fits your macros kind of approach, if, oh, I've got to focus on calories and protein. Yes, that's going to be the main driver. Calories and protein is going to be the main kind of driver. But when you focus a lot more on just the nutrients you're getting from certain foods, you find you play by different rules. So you play the game by different rules when you do that, because even though if you're not even eating in a deficit, you'll find your body composition will change off the back of that. If you focus more on the vitamins and the nutrients that you are then currently eating, you'll definitely find it's a lot easier to kind of maintain a leaner kind of physique, and your body will use the calories a lot better than if you were to use kind of junk foods. But that's a video for another completely different day. If you are someone that does struggle a little bit with this, and you've heard all this stuff in the video, and you feel a little bit overwhelmed and you don't really know kind of what the next best approach is, or what kind of approach would fit your kind of lifestyle, and you just find it very, very hard to do without having to kind of track it, everything to a T, or you're not seeing the results that you want. That's exactly what I do. What I do for a living is I help people rewire kind of how they think, how they eat, how they train to kind of fit their lifestyle and be able to kind of live a lifestyle where they can enjoy the gym, they can get the results they want to see, but they can also live a life outside of that and have an amazing career, have amazing relationships, have an amazing social life as well, and have kind of the best of both worlds, and go through phases where they focus on their training, they focus on the diet, and they lock in terms of that, and then they have phases where they can enjoy social events, they can enjoy relationships, they can enjoy family events, and they're thriving in their career while still being able to kind of stay in shape and stay in good condition year round, and not have things completely fall off a cliff when it comes to kind of doing things like that. If you are someone that wants a more personalized approach and something that's going to be a lot better beneficial for you, then click the link in my bio or in the description of this video, and there'll be a form to fill in, and that's when you'll be able to apply for my one-on-one online coaching. And I am currently taking on a few people. I don't lie and say, oh, I'm taking on 5 people, and I'll take on people that I am willing to help, want to help, and think they will be a good fit for the program. And I'll get back to you, and we'll have a quick little chat to see if I can actually help and kind of how we can help going forward. But that is the end of this video. And if you found this useful, then drop in the comments. And if you have any other ideas or kind of want to know certain things or certain topics you want me to go over more in the future, then drop it in the comments, and I'll be in the comments chatting back to you. But yes, lawnmower going off again. Hopefully the mic is picked that up and it's fine. I just had to check the mic was on. I hope that's on as well. But yes, hope you have an absolute belt over there, my friend, and I'll speak to you soon. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one. Ooh.